We're back at Legendary Motorcar, and we have to have this car ready for a show in about 7 days. We've got the interior left to do, we've got the trim left to do. The trim on this L88 Corvette is pretty straightforward. It consists of the chrome, the bumpers, the bumperettes, same thing with the rear, taillight panels, and then some stainless steel. Now the stainless on this car is again very straightforward. Instead of buying new pieces, we can buy everything from Paragon if we need to, but all the chrome or stainless was very nice in this car, so we sent it out, had it polished. The guys at Cambridge do a real nice job. Comes back looking better than new. As far as pieces again, we could order new door handles, but what we did is we had them sent out to Cambridge again, and these guys take it apart, give it back to us in a bag labeled with all the pieces. Now all we have to do is put this together, and the quality of the chrome is a little bit better than some of the reproduction pieces. Now as far as emblems go, these pieces from Paragon, their GM pieces are as good as GM pieces. There's no point trying to send these out, get them replated, make sure they do the black trim and stuff. Just not cost effective. So these pieces we got from Paragon. Things like the license plate frame, again, we sent those out, made sure they looked better than brand new. Larry on this restoration wanted to make this car look better than new, and that's exactly what he's going to get. If you remember the rear bumpers when we took this car apart, they were all wavy and there were a bunch of pits in them. So the guys at Cambridge had to spend a lot of time straightening out those rear bumpers. Well worth the effort. If you have a look at them now, you can look down the sides and you can see the difference from before and what they look like now. Now one of the tricks we'll use here when we're installing bumpers, if it's a small bumper like this Corvette, one guy can handle it. If it's a bigger bumper, you want two guys to make sure that you don't scratch the paint. One of the other things we do is we lay tape on the inside of the bumper and then use some foam around the edges. So if you slide it up into the place, if you move it around a little bit, there's no chance you're going to scratch the paint. Again, it takes a lot of time and effort to repaint a quarter panel if you scratch it. So take your time at this point. Then what you can do is you can tighten it down slowly. Keep in mind on fiberglass cars, if you reef it down or use an impact tool, you're going to actually crack that fiberglass. So take it easy, snug it down slow. Don't be aggressive here, it'll pay off in the end. One of the other pieces is trim. One of the tricks we use here is this piece of trim comes out of the bag and you see it's got these little cones here to protect it. Now they have to slide into the holes that were originally there. Now when you're doing all the body work, it actually builds up. You've got your poly surfacer, you got your primers, you got your final primer, you have your paint, you've got your clear. Well, that kind of fills in the hole, and now that hole is smaller than it should be, and what you can do is take a tiny file it out a little. If you just try and jam this end of the piece of trim right into it, there's a good chance you're going to actually crack the paint. And because you don't have much room on this piece here, if you crack the paint just a 1/4 of an inch, it's going to show behind this piece of trim. Take a look at a lot of show cars, you'll see they just jam this stuff on and it cracks the paint. So take a small file, open up the hole, and there's less chance that you're going to have that. You're also, if you ever have to remove this piece, you're not going to have the issue as you're pulling the piece of trim off, you're not going to have the paint come with it. Just a little thing that'll take a little bit of time and save you a lot of grief later. One other unique thing on a Corvette is some of the stainless around the windshield is actually painted, so it has to be prepped. And what you have to do is epoxy prime it, paint that, tape it off nice and neat, polish the edge on this piece, and then polish the paint itself. This is kind of unique to a Corvette. There's not a whole bunch of cars that do this. So if you take your time at this stage, this is usually when the paint gets damaged, slow down a little bit, it'll pay off in the end. Now this car doesn't have a lot of trim, so there's not a whole bunch of hours involved in this car, but take your time, it's worth it in the end.